Okay, party people. Old school pool. It's gonna yet another. This one's a quick one. Swim view, summer view. Just wanted to show you this lake here. It's an old jaunt of mine. There's a building here. It's actually a private kind of public beach resort. Well, not resort, camp spot with cabins and stuff. A couple of cabins over there you can rent out. And you can also launch your boat from here, so it's a boating lake as well. There's a little canteen here. It's called Ravenhaven. You see that up there, Ravenhaven. It's in a place called Milford, on the 8 highway from Annapolis Royal. And here's a little beach here area. They put picnic tables out here. Quite a few people bring their kids down here. Young teens like to swim here as well. They have a dive platform out there. Actually opens up next week officially, so it gets busy here. I used to come here before I open water swim out in remote lakes and stuff. It's just a nice place, and I really like this lake. It's called Sandy Bottom Lake, so it's quite big. You can't see the whole of it, but actually people live on this lake all year round, around on the cabins and small houses and stuff. And also people come here in the summer and they stay in their cabins for the summer and then relocate back to wherever they are. But there's actually people live around here all year round. So yeah, it's got a nice little staircase just right here. You can enter. It's actually kind of chilly today. It's like 12 degrees, and with the wind it's probably about 9. Hopefully the waters are warmer. I know it's going to be. And yeah, it's going to go for a little swim. I normally try and follow around the sun, but I'll maybe just go out, 15 minutes and then a 15-minute back. Might swim over this way here. There's more cabins I can show you. Not really a lot of wildlife here. A few geese and stuff that come here and hang out at the shore here. It's normally quite a lot more geese and a lot of goose poo. Don't mind stepping in that. But yeah, it's kind of chilly. So it's get in and quick swim and get out. Yeah, it's a lot colder than the water, I know that, yeah. Not too far from here, I used to work in a place called Milford House, which is an actual resort, cabins. It's really nice. Got a bunch of lakes there you can canoe in. It's like a canoe resort, and also you can use. It comes into rivers and stuff, and you can portage through the rivers. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. It's been turning quite cold overnight lately. It's been some nice days, afternoons into the low 20s. I was up in the city the other day, 2 days ago, and that was 28. It was beautiful. I kind of like it around 25, a little bit of wind, keep it nice, sunny, obviously. Who doesn't like a nice sunny day? But yeah, I know it's going to be cold getting in here. But you just got to do it, right? There is a temperature gauge down here. Let's see if we can read it real quick. They leave it here for take the temp. There's a lifeguard that usually they put here on the beach for swimmers and stuff. So right now it's actually 18 the water. So it's actually warmer than the air, a lot warmer. And it's pretty shallow here getting in, and then you just got to get in, right? I've swum across this lake to the other side, and the wind picked up, and had a hard time getting back over against the current, or against the small, say, wind swell, was creating in here. Today's a little choppy, but the wind's coming back at me, so if I go out far, it won't be hard to get back. Always got to keep that in mind, right? I mean, even though it's not the ocean and you have ocean swells and currents and stuff like that, you'd be surprised in lakes when the wind picks up that you can actually get some kind of current undertow from the wind, right? And it depends on how you're swimming. You obviously don't want a mouthful of water, so you're kind of up and over the wave a little bit. It's not, I've swum a lot choppier waters than this. But obviously if you're doing front crawl, compared to breaststroke, you'll be better. I put my power fins on as well. It's a good idea having fins if you swim ocean, right? A little different when there is a little wind, little rough water. Trying our commentate on what I'm doing and without sucking in a mouthful of water. Yeah, but there's some really nice cabins on here. Actually, there's one over there that a friend of mine owns, and he rents it out right now. I think it's up for sale, or he's trying to sell it. But my girlfriend actually's grandmother had a cabin on here once. She sold it years ago, and she really likes this lake as well. It's beautiful. Come here next week, it'll get busy, and people that own the cabins and stuff, they've got boats, and once you come out past a certain point in this lake from the shore there on the beach, there's actual boats, and I don't really like to swim in lakes where there's boats, to be honest. I really don't like to swim lakes when there's anything. Any swimmers, any boats, any people, any cabins, really, to be honest. But just thought I'd take this video here because I was here the other week. It was quite nice. It was a sunny day, calm, and I got talking to the lady up there. She was doing some painting on the railings of the canteen, and she was from Germany. She lives here, not too far, and she's going to be running the canteen for a few months. And there used to be quite a big German population, immigrants, been here for years, that settled here, and also the other day where I might upload that, just a phone video in a place I swam called New Germany, which was on the 10, oh sorry, the 12, no, the 10 highways that's just above the 8. There's a place, really nice place called New Germany, which was settled by Germans back, God, years ago. And this region here, and Annapolis Royal, was settled by the French, and there was the Mi'kmaq, the native settlements, and the French came, and then the British came, and the British duked it out with the French, and the British claimed it, and it's one of the oldest places that was how can we put it? Yeah, it was basically taken by the British, and there you have the beginning of Canada, basically. Yeah, and it is the oldest place in Canada. I live on the oldest road in Canada, and how many hundreds of years it is, I don't know, but a few hundred years ago, yeah, there's quite a big Acadian population as well in the south. In the towards Mavelet, and it's a bit south of Annapolis Rural past Digby. There's a big Acadia area, and also up on the west valley, a place called Grand Prix, and there's some national, how can we put it, park, UNESCO World Heritage Site called Grand Prix, which is Acadian. So if you go down probably about an hour from here, you're in Acadia territory. Okay, they speak French. Yeah, I'd like to go down there sometimes, practice my French, and maybe get a bite to eat. Used to be a little surf spot I used to go to called Mavelet. Beautiful beach. The tide goes way out, way out. You got to wait for the kind of incoming tide high for any good surf, but I reckon you can make it. I have to go around from where I live and then get on the highway, the 101. Past Mavelet, you get to a place called Yarmouth, which is the southern tip of Nova Scotia. And there's a ferry that goes across to Maine. I think it's Portsmouth, Maine, USA. The ferry comes across from there, and also in Digby you can get a ferry through the what's called the Gut, and into the Bay of Fundy, and across to St. John, New Brunswick. And there you can drive from New Brunswick to St. John. Sorry, you get off at St. John, and then you can drive from St. John, New Brunswick, not too far, and you're at the border of USA. Been down that route once or twice, down the I-95, which goes all the way to Florida. It's quite the drive. Yeah, some of these cabins are just summer cabins. Some are actual built houses that are lived in all year round. So it's kind of like a private public lake. Obviously I've entered from the public side, and like I said, next week they'll have an opening here, or it's official opening. It'll get busy and I wouldn't want to come here. Well, maybe. It's I've been swimming here for years, and the point being is that it was before I started going real remote lake swimming, trying to find my own little holes, and that has to be on Crown land as well. Because some places I do go, either one, it's owned by Nova Scotia Power, or it's private. There's a private road. The only way you can get to it is on the private road, and there's nowhere to park, and you can't. And the people that live down there don't really like, public transport or your own vehicle going down there and start swimming around in front of their house. So yeah, I've become a remote lake swimmer, and trying to find routes in and out of the lake. I'll be swimming here across from this lake to another lake, which you can't get access to, but the one above that lake is another lake. Like I was mentioning before in previous videos, there's almost over 3,000 lakes in Nova Scotia. Imagine, yeah. Some you can't get to at all. Some have got kind of logging roads in and out. You might be able to find somewhere to park and get in. Some have got private houses around the lake, and they don't really like you using access to that, so yeah. But I managed to kind of look on maps and find a place where I can just get in off the side of the highway or road. I don't really like to go walking in the bush or the brush too far to get to a lake. Just want to kind of park up and get in. Although I do like hiking in the woods. It's just that when I want to go swimming, I just want to get there and get in. I actually kind of do like it when it's actually a little bit choppy, because it gives you a kind of a different workout, right? You know, you're using different muscle groups, and it's a lot harder to swim in rough water. This isn't rough by any means, but it's still a little choppy. Got to use a little more power to get through. That's my point. The choppier, the harder the workout. Yep. Especially as I'm a swimmer that mostly swims with my head above water, as a body surfer, because you're always keeping an eye out, right? Looking around, trying to track in incoming waves, move to a certain shelf. You've got to keep your head above water, right? I used to really like front crawl. That used to be my stroke as a swimmer, and swim fast. It is the fastest stroke you can use swimming. And I used to kind of, well, I wouldn't say officially compete, but you know, have races and stuff with people in pools. And I've raced in Olympic pools in Australia with athletes. And I used to be very light and very fast at front crawl, and that used to be my thing. Now I'm more relaxing, power swims, resistant workout. You know, take your time. I used to swim long distance for a while. When I'm in the ocean, I'll be in and out for 3 hours. And almost be falling asleep driving home. That doesn't sound good, but it's tiring, right? But we'll go out for a while, take a break, see how the incoming tide has changed the shape of the waves. Maybe it's got a bit bigger and I want to go back out again. And yeah, I've had 3-hour sessions body surfing. I was a lot fitter back then than I am now, that's for sure. This to me is keeping up fitness. I'll be 53 next week, and yeah, doesn't get any easier. But for me, it's also healing in water, where you know, I consider this healing. Water is healing to me, you know, healing for everybody. Step into liquid, man. You know, it's numero uno. Cold water, dips, very good, circulates the blood system, clears the mind. Love it. I kind of, you know, maybe in my next life or previous life was a fish. Really, I swim so much every day. I love it. I really love this sport, or this, what I'm doing, swimming. Paddling around in water. Being probably a private and public lake, it's probably why you don't get too much wildlife here, right? You know. And I've seen this lake fully frozen. In the winter time, it's just flat, frozen snow. You know. A few kayakers come out on here and fish and stuff. I've tried fishing here, I've caught nothing. There is fishing here, but good luck. it's not a fishing spot, I suppose, but you know. And jet skis. A lot of jet skiers, and I try and just keep away. It's hard for them to visualize you. By then, you know, I should get a buoy or something, tow buoy, a luminous tow buoy. I think I might body surf a bit this year. I didn't too much last year. I haven't in the last while. I've been living up Northwest Territories. There's no body surfing there whatsoever. So I'll probably go up to a few old surf jaunts, and see what we can get. Maybe I can take the camera out and maybe just film some surfers. I wanted to mention this as well because it's quite fascinating, is that on the cabin situation in Canada, I don't suppose anywhere around here they will all be locked when they leave, but if you have a cabin and it's remote and it's wherever on private land, it has to be remain unlocked, and there's a reason for people who could get lost in the wilderness, could stumble across a cabin. They need to be able to access to get into the cabin, okay, to survive. So yeah, just thought I'd mention that because there are a few cabins in Nova Scotia that you can actually get to. There's one, I'll make another video of another lake I swim that has a cabin there, and it's open to anybody who can even go stay in there, light the stove, fill up the stove with some wood, and yeah, first come first served basis. I've been in there. I swam there in the winter and started a fire. When I got out of the water, it was like 4 degrees, 2 degrees, 4 degrees, and had a fire going. Got out, warmed up, and yeah, it's pretty cool. But there's a rule across the whole of Canada that if you have a cabin and it's remote in the hills, in the mountains, in the bush, it has to remain unlocked. In case there's a lost hiker or party that get lost, they can actually access that cabin and stay in it overnight or wherever for rescue, etc. But yeah, so the next video I'm going to do, hopefully there's a bit more wildlife there, is actually across, down the road and across the street from this lake, well, there's a kind of a marshy lake behind them trees over there, and beyond that there's another lake, and I found access via cemetery to get there, and a bit ominous to get in, but I think that's my next lake I'm going to go to and see what we can see. Take me to the cemetery. I don't know how long that's been now, probably a good 15 minutes, well, maybe more. It's going to warm up today, so that's the forecast. Sunny, high of about 22, so I think I'll swim this evening 100%. I'm not sure where I'll go, but yeah. Could actually probably, yeah, I'm touching the bottom right now, so, and it's a sandy bottom, as it's called, Sandy Bottom Lake. This is notoriously known for leeches as well. Around the shore, the leeches don't come out here, but they hang around the shoreline there. Normally there's a bit more water foliage and flowers and lilies and stuff, but I don't see any at all this year. You know, weird. But yeah, just giving you a little quick video on another lake I swim called Raven Haven, Milford, Sandy Bottom Lake. It's quite a nice place. Yeah, to calm. You know, if you just want to relax, launch your boat, lay on the beach over there, little kind of lake beach. I used to do it a few times many moons ago. I think I've actually camped here one night. There's a little campground behind them trees over there that goes around, small little campground. And yeah, the lady mentioned this place was open on the 18th of June. And I said, oh, that's my birthday. And she said, well, come and get an ice cream, yeah? Ein großer ice cream. So I might actually take her up on that, yeah? And get myself a nice ice cream from your birthday. Something like that. But yeah. Anyways, Macapoos do help if you ever go lake swimming and it's a bit choppy. Yeah, a pair of fins do definitely help. Now it's going to get out and run back to the car. Yeah, it's kind of... It's funny because the water actually is warmer than the air. So winter swimming's a real dicky one there when you get out and you freeze instantly, you know. And when the water won't be more than 0, you get out and the air's minus 20, minus 24, you gotta hack back to the car real quick, yeah? In your wetsuit, wet. It's quite a thing. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one. Not too bad. Just needed a swim early in the morning. Yeah. Keep the faith and speak soon. Okay, God bless.